Hello, hello. Welcome to another DCU Daily times MCU Weekly. We got a lot of news for you guys today, and we have a really great show for you guys today. We got a lot of news, a lot of quick hits, a lot of DCU, and a lot of MCU, a lot of big news dropping. And why don't we just get into it? I think I think that's a pretty good thing. Now I need to find the clip because I can't find the clip. But, we'll roll with it. Uh well, I can't find the clip. Anyway, how is everybody doing today? Liz, how are you doing today?
I'm great. At least I'm here. Hey, how are you? Hey, everybody.
Liz, it's, one wonderful to have you. Just me being awkward and unable to host a proper thing. See, it's like 2 minutes in, and I'm already
What are you
screwing up,
gonna
but
do?
that's
What are
okay.
you gonna do?
Um, the people love me, so
That's right.
we'll just work with that. But let's just let's just get into the news.
It doesn't seem to matter what I do. I'm always the number two.
All right, mister, I need to paint my abs on to get nominated. You don't see Robert Downey doing that.
You're kidding.
Robert
You're
Downey.
kidding. I can't open the envelope without the...
Warner Brothers is heading back into the Matrix with a new movie in the works.
Wonder what other surprises are in store.
I want to be Bruce Wayne. I like that. You're gonna love me.
There's the shot right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see
Right there.
You look ridiculous.
Well, not no more, he don't.
What, dude? I can barely understand you. Your accent's insane.
Give me a hand up. Nope, I'm actually okay. Thank you very much. Oh, wow. Wow.
All right, guys, news time. So we're gonna mainly be talking about kind of like major Oscar fallout, as well. I think Liz is the only person here that still actually likes watching the Oscars.
It's my Super Bowl. I love watching them.
I watch them like for content, but that's kind of it. But the first major thing, we have Emilia Perez setting, an Oscar record for a non-English language film with 13 nominations, I believe, tying now with Oppenheimer and one other film that I'm not remembering off the top of my head. Have you seen the movie? And even if you haven't, what are your thoughts on this?
I have. It is incredible. It's certainly not for everybody. The subject matter is very polarizing and controversial, but it is a musical. It is a musical in the true sense of the word. I should say acts 1 and 2 are musical. The third act, not as much. But it's a drama. It talks about some serious shit. I loved it. I thought it was excellent. I think Zoe Saldana is incredible. I know people are saying that Selena Gomez got snubbed. In my opinion, she really didn't. She wasn't the standout for me in the film, but it's an unbelievable film, and all of those nominations are certainly a credit to just how good the movie was. It was such a surprise for me, to be perfectly honest. I had no idea what it was about. Even first hearing that it was a musical, I was like, oh, okay. And then literally within the first 5 minutes, it went in a direction that I was not expecting at all. So I can't say enough wonderful things, but again, it's also one of those films that I know is certainly not for everyone, and a lot of people probably will have issue if it wins all of those Oscar nominations, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, I can't judge the film. I haven't seen it. I just know of the like multitude of controversies where it's like it's kind of uniting people on all fronts about how much they hate it. It's one of those things where it's like transphobes and the trans community both hate it for different reasons. Racists and Mexicans both hate the movie for different reasons. And then people who like musicals and people who hate musicals hate it for different reasons. So it's definitely a very intriguing film, very polarizing.
I think I'm a one-off here on this because I typically I'm not a fan of musicals. Well, I'm very particular as to how like they need to be done right and they need to make sense. Like again, Joker 2, trash of a musical. Chicago, amazing musical. Wicked, okay. But this for me, I loved it. I really, but again, like I said, it's interesting because it was a musical, but then it kind of wasn't. So like I said, the first 2 acts it was, but then the third act there was I don't remember a single musical sequence in it. So it's kind of all over the place in that regard, but I truly loved the film. So but also, you know, I am not Latina. I can't speak to those things. It definitely had its
weird.
it definitely had its moments, its you know little plot holes here and there, but overall, I think for me it was just because it's such an original story and it's such an original idea, and it's something that I've never seen before in that regard. So I think that's mainly where I'm coming from. Like I said, within the first 5 minutes, I was like shocked as to what the direction of the film. I was like, oh, this is what wow, okay. Just didn't see that coming at all. So, but I'm also one of those people that purposely doesn't do research because I don't want things spoiled for me ahead of time. So I went into it completely blind, really not knowing anything aside from the main actresses that are in the film. So with that in mind, I really enjoyed it, but I could understand how it would be difficult for some other audiences.
Yeah, I've listened to a few of the musical numbers. I didn't really care for the music. I felt that the singing was kind of tone deaf, and the
even from Zoe Saldana, I thought was the best. I thought she was.
I thought you know, it just felt very like it just didn't sound good to me. But again, I can't judge the whole thing because I haven't seen it. But yeah, it's certainly interesting that it's just like it's you got people who love it. Seems like a smaller amount, and then a lot of people who hate it. So it's definitely like a weird kind of iffy thing. So with that, let's kind of what so like I'm just curious, do you think there is like a really good reason as to why Amelia Perez like kind of did all of that, or no, or like you're just like kind of in the dark as much as everyone else is? Like, why do you think that? It's just like, is it typical like, oh, it's a movie about a trans woman, the Academy likes progressive stuff, so we're going to nominate it for all the awards?
No, I mean,
no,
I honestly think again because it's such an original story. It's not like you really can't compare it to a lot of things. And Everything Everywhere All at Once, as we know, swept the Academy Awards that one year. And I think it's the same thing. It's because it's so original. It's really you can't compare it to another film or another story. So I really think that's why. Again, there certain things weren't great. Like I said, Selena Gomez wasn't really a standout for me. She didn't do anything for particularly exciting or different. So I can understand why she didn't get the nomination. So you know, it's certainly not perfect by any means, but like I said, the fact that it's such an original story and concept and kind of just came out of nowhere, I think is the reason it's getting all the attention that it's getting.
Cool. Yeah, so I think you know, apparently Universal got a bunch of nominations across like all the stuff they're, you know, they own and whatnot. So they were saying it was a banner year for Universal at the Academy Awards with 25 nominations, most ever between Universal Pictures, DreamWorks, and Focus Features, which is what Universal owns. That's definitely very exciting for them because I think Universal's one of the not quite as terrible studios. Like Warner Brothers, Sony, and Disney are kind of the trifecta of awful right now, just in terms of business practices, making garbage movies or just making terrible business decisions. So I don't know. Universal seems like one of the like they're cool, they're chill. And same with Paramount, even though now they're owned by Skydance. But I don't know. It's just like I feel like that's kind of you know, I feel like that's definitely good on them, and you know, I think a lot of them are deserving. Like, I mean, Wild Robot was one of my favorite movies of the year.
Sure, absolutely.
Wicked was there. So, I think, and Focus Features, I think, yeah, Nosferatu got a couple things, which was good. I didn't think Nosferatu would get anything, so
I
that's
mean, I
nice.
assumed it would for like cinematography, things like that,
I
but
hope Jaron
yeah.
Blasch finally wins cinematography. Like, he should have won for The Lighthouse, but the thing is, he was up against, I think, Blade Runner 2049, which was the cinematographer was Sir Roger Deakins. So it's like, okay, fine, that makes sense. But I do hope he wins for this because he's fucking majorly fucking talented, and he did such an excellent job with the film. So,
Yeah.
I think that's great for Universal. Um, so, do you think speaking of Universal and Wicked, do you think Cynthia Erivo can finally get an EGOT or no?
See, here's the problem with articles like this is I hate it when people bring attention to things like this because it's one of those situations where it's like, if she won, it's like, did she win because of all the attention and being like, hey, this is the only, like it's I don't like it when they draw attention to the fact that like
Right.
so and so is missing this one award or or is like one award away from like breaking a record. Like they did that with Beyonce at the Grammys the past year, where she was like, oh, she has the possibility of breaking the all-time record. Oh, and then surprisingly, here's the award. That is why people think all of this stuff is rigged, is because this is what happens. There's all this speculation and there are all these things focusing on records and focusing on certain, like this, and then the person wins it and they're, oh, well, of course, because it was set up like that. It's like, well, it maybe it was, maybe it
Honestly,
wasn't.
it's tough because Demi Moore, after winning the Golden Globe, is now definitely a favorite for Best Actress. So I'm very
But
curious.
quite frankly, I don't think she should get an Oscar for that performance. As
I
much
don't
as
know.
I like her, as much as I think she deserved, it was shocking to me to hear that she had never gotten any other major award previously to that. Um, but it's like Leonardo DiCaprio, right? Like there were so many other films he should have gotten the Oscar for, and so when he finally won it, I was like, "Oh, okay." Like just because it was his time, or same thing with Jamie Lee Curtis when she got hers with Everything Everywhere All at Once.
I
It was
mean,
the
to be
same thing.
fair,
It was
Jamie Lee
like,
Curtis hasn't really been in a lot of like Oscar noteworthy films, to
no,
be
but
fair.
also, but again, my point is there were other things she was more deserving of that award for than that particular role. So sometimes I think they do that where it's like,
Oh yeah,
oh, well, it's their
they give him a
time.
pity Oscar. It's a
Yeah,
pity
yeah,
Oscar.
and
Like
and again, when we have
Leo
articles like this,
definitely got a
that's
pity Oscar because The Revenant was a
exactly.
very good movie.
Exactly.
But
But
like in
not his
terms
best
of
performance,
Wolf of
yeah.
Wall Street
Right,
or
right,
Departed, he didn't even get fucking nominated for.
right,
And
right.
then all these What's Eating Gilbert Grape, I've heard like that performance is
Yeah,
still amazing to this day.
absolutely, absolutely.
So it's
Yeah.
kind of all
So like I
that.
said, so I see articles like this come out and I'm like, cool, because now there's always gonna be that question hanging over, especially if she does win the Oscar, which again, I also don't think that she deserved, not for that performance.
I
Eh,
don't think
eh,
she deserved it for that performance either.
no,
It's because it's like my parents were like, I think Demi Moore gave a better and more like grounded performance in The
sure.
Substance.
Yeah,
And my parents were like, because one, The Substance is a horror movie, so that's less respected than a musical. And so it's like, oh, Cynthia Erivo, like defying gravity, defying gravity. It's like, yes, defying
see, that
gravity
annoys
was
me
a
too though,
great
because
moment, but she
yeah.
shouldn't get an Oscar for one really good musical sequence. That's not fair
Well,
to the
and
rest of
see
the
that, well,
performance.
but even like, but like the substance being quantified as a horror really bothers me too, because I didn't catch that. I didn't feel that way at all. I thought it was, like kind of a drama. I mean, yeah, it was a little gory, but I that's what classifies it as a horror. Like it doesn't,
No, it
so
is
so it
definitely a
it
horror
drives me
movie.
crazy when they do things like that, like how they say Anora is a comedy. Anora is not a comedy in
It's
my
not a
opinion.
comedy.
But that's what everybody's saying. So that's part of it too. Like these classifications like you said, could potentially prevent Demi Moore from getting the award. Again, I don't know that she's. I mean, I think of the category, honestly, Carla Sofia Gascon for me, for Amelia Perez should be
I this
the
is
winner. She won't get it, but
here's the thing. This is gonna sound really mean, but like
that's
I
okay.
kind of I think I mentioned this yesterday. I mentioned this to Dan, and I'll mention this to you now. And people who watched yesterday remember. I kind of want her to win, so certain people will be very, very angry about a trans woman winning the Oscar
Yeah,
for
no, I
Best
know what you mean.
Actress.
Yeah, I know what you
That
mean.
would
Yeah,
be very fun to see.
yeah,
Just like a certain tangent of people losing their collective
yeah.
shit over
But it,
nothing.
but again,
So,
I'm
but
coming.
I'm sure she
You
also
know,
gave a. I'm sure she gave a
no, well,
great
that's where I'm
performance.
coming from. I'm coming from a place I have seen every single one of these films. So when you really break it down, I think she's the most deserving actress of the category. So that's my opinion. But again, I'm also one of the very rare few people who have seen every single one of these films. So
Mhm.
I'm not coming from a place of, you know, activism, what have you. I'm coming
No,
from a
I know.
place of a
I just think
fan.
it would be
Yeah.
funny because I'm an asshole.
No, I know
So
what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
but it's you know, plus it's really great to see Isabella Rossellini. Speaking of, with the whole thing with
And
David
again, I
Lynch and
mean,
all
you
that,
and I
and
both saw this film. We love this film, but was that an Oscar nomination like performance? No, like she's been in so many other things. She was in this
yeah,
movie for all of 5 minutes.
I think
So,
she did a very good job. But it's
oh,
like if we're
100%.
comparing to like fucking Stanley Tucci and Ray Fiennes
Right.
and John Lithgow
I'm saying.
and all of these other
And
actors
yeah,
who did amazing jobs. I
yeah.
would say like we recognize Isabella Rossellini because it's a name. She's been
No,
in the industry for
100%.
decades. So,
And but again, this is my point. Like she was deserving for it in other things in the past.
yeah.
I don't see how being in a film for 5 minutes, no matter
I mean,
what.
look at Dame Judi Dench. She was in Shakespeare in Love for like 2 minutes and she got the fucking award. So,
Right. That's what I'm saying.
um,
It makes
and
no
but the
sense.
thing is, like, again, I haven't seen that movie, so maybe she gave an Oscar-worthy performance. But hey, look, a movie I have seen and I can judge. Sir Anthony Hopkins in Silence of the Lambs was in the movie for 15 minutes and got the award, but that was a deserving Oscar
Sure.
because it's one of the greatest villain performances of all time, despite
Right.
those only being 15 minutes.
But
So
but again, I'm saying when you put it up against the other actresses in that category, it's one of those like, what? Like I don't
interesting,
know.
but
Yeah.
it's all that, and then get the fuck out of here. Uh, so here we go. We also have Sean Baker and Jacques Audiard and James Mangold nominated for multiple awards, and Coralie Farragut and Brady Corbett. Brady Corbett. They were all in terms of. It was nice to see. I'm probably pronouncing her name wrong, but Coralie Farragut, I think. I think that was really nice to see, like, female director, doing such a great film, and being a horror film, like, getting recognized. That's great. And then Sean Baker has been like an indie director for a while, like doing stuff like Florida Project and Red Rocket, getting a lot of critical acclaim, but like nothing like Academy noteworthy. So it was nice that like Honora got there. James Mangold, he's been recognized many times. So it's nice to see these guys getting really, really great
Yeah,
recognition for all this. It's nice to see.
absolutely.
Um, but yeah, and then moving on from Oscar stuff, we have the upcoming Love Me, which is with Kristen Stewart and Stephen Yeun.
Yeah.
Have you heard of this movie?
I
And
sure
if
have. I've seen the trailer a couple of times now. I'm looking
okay,
forward to
are
it. I
you
think it looks really
excited for
interesting.
this? Are you
Yeah. I mean, I think it looks really interesting, and it's definitely a commentary on where the world is today. I mean, this smart robot or alien or whatever it is learning about interpersonal relationships via YouTube channels, which, as we know, are usually extremely fake and made up. But so I think it's really interesting, and it's a cool idea, and I'm looking forward to it. I love both of these actors, so yeah, it looks fun.
I think it looks extremely cheesy, but like,
And it might very well be, yeah.
it's just like, I mean, the irony of it all, I just don't have interest. It's just like, oh, the idea of robots be learning to be more human. It's just like the way that the execution is just Kind of sounds really
Well,
cheesy
but
to
again,
me.
at some point the curtain comes down for the robot, and the robot realizes that, oh, their life isn't perfect, and you know what I mean? Like the robot realizes that they've been taken for a ride, just like anybody else who subscribes to these influencers.
Yeah, and then they get
So
canceled. They have to do an apology video, and it's it's all that. Turns out the boyfriend like diddled a 15-year-old girl. How it is with all YouTubers nowadays, like
we always gotta bring it
crazy.
there. Oh my gosh.
It's just gonna get like. Imagine if that's actually a plot point. That would be crazy.
No way. No way.
If
Don't
that
talk
was a
about
plot
Steven
point,
like
I'd watch
that.
it, because that would
No.
be current YouTube like commentary right there.
No.
But
gonna go
but speaking of Steven Yeun, let's go to his other major movie coming out this year with Mickey 17. Mickey 17 got some great new posters of him.
I'm hoping I get my hand on one of those. They'll be back here for sure. I'm so excited for this movie.
Welcome to the worst job in the world. They try to cross out world, but the strike through didn't work. But it's the universe, the worst job in the universe. We got these really great posters, and I think that's really awesome. Like,
no, I'm excited.
It's just like Robert Pattinson just, currently just like constantly proving that, I'm not Edward fucking Cullen, you fucking dipshits.
I'm so happy that everybody else finally gets to see what we all have already seen. Like I've always liked him. I've always liked him as an actor. He just, made a decision.
It's just like, it's funny. Somebody actually posted something. I think it was a comment on the newest trailer, which came out a couple days ago. It's funny how like both he and Daniel Radcliffe seem to have gotten the same advice of like, hey, after your book adaptation, just do some of the weirdest, most bonkers shit imaginable. He's like, and then somebody replied to that like, how much you want to bet they got the same advice while working on Goblet of Fire together?
So it's like, just
honestly,
go ape shit from now. Yeah, after this, just pick anything you want. Yeah. I'm pumped for it.
I'm so, like, I cannot fucking tell you how fucking pumped I am. Like, this is one of like, because the thing is, I really liked Parasite. I've seen Snowpiercer. Snowpiercer was another really good one. For Bong Joon-ho. What else? Memories of Murder. I have that on DVD or Blu-ray. I got the Criterion of that, and that was really fucking good. I highly recommend that to anybody who hasn't seen it, because that's great.
No,
I've also seen
Parasite.
his movie called Mother, not the Jennifer Lawrence pretentious retelling of the Bible by Darren Aronofsky. It's
Trash.
actually a good movie. It's a very different movie. It's like the idea of like this woman's son gets accused of a crime that she doesn't think he committed, and whether or not he did is like a mystery, and it was so fucking good. Pretty sure that was Bong Joon-ho. But yeah, it's he does like drama. I think he does dramedies really well, where he just does like some of the most like hard-hitting fucking dramas, and then like mixes it in with the like weirdest, most bonkers comedy, and I absolutely fucking love that. We have more people entering the chat now. TC24, Derpy, Enterprising.
Appreciate
more 15 people watching, 9 likes. Come on, get those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers in this racket. But speaking of rookie numbers in this racket, terrible segue, but now we have quick hits, guys. we got to put the Bossa Nova elevator music on, and there it is. Turn that down a bit so you guys can actually hear us, and it's not like a TikTok that's telling a story with an AI generated voice and they have the music too loud. But god damn it, Variety fucking god damn it. Anyway, just fucking Variety ruining my goddamn shit. Anyway, there it is. Martin Scorsese's next project is gonna be Devil in the White City. What are your thoughts?
Oh, Leonardo DiCaprio and Scorsese at it again. Shocking no one. Like,
and I guess what? It's gonna be another fucking banger, because it's Martin Scorsese. He makes nothing but bangers. Love
It'll
it.
be great, but I'm kind of like, there's literally no one else that you can cast. Like, no, like Leo is apparently the only actor he's ever going to work with again. Like, what are we? Okay.
Unfortunately, Variety is an asshole, so I can't see the article.
I
But
know.
you know, I'll do it off camera. I'll finally have them allow ads because fuck you, Variety. Anyway, so we've got some more look-sees on the next Jurassic World movie, and I'm not gonna watch it. What are your thoughts?
I'll watch it.
Fine,
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch it, but I'll complain the whole time.
Yeah, there you go. I'm looking forward to the popcorn bucket. I'm sure we'll get something epic. But yeah, it looks good.
It'll be a dinosaur
I like the actors
butthole
in
this
it.
time.
You know, I like the actors that are in it, so I will be seeing it.
Yeah, you could tell from the two shots of Mahershala Ali, this one, and hang on, let me go back. This one, you can tell Mahershala Ali is definitely going to have a very fun time with this movie.
And he's going to die. He's probably going to die.
Well, I mean, black guy in a horror movie, of course. I mean, that always happens, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to see it because I haven't. The only Jurassic Park movie I've seen is Jurassic Park because that's the only one that matters. And even then, I didn't
Fair.
really like it that much. It's okay. I mean, it's good. It's fine. But everyone loses their mind over it, and it's, you know, it's like a 7 out of 10. Like, calm down, guys. Anyway,
I mean,
and then we have. Although speaking of Jurassic Park, Steven Spielberg being based. So apparently Ke-Huy Quan was going through a bit of a post-Oscar slump. I was at an event with Steven Spielberg, and he was asking me, "Hey, how you doing?" And said, "Steven, I'm not doing well." He said, "Let's have lunch." And I told him about this Love Hurts project and kind of pitched it to him. He said, "Do it. It's gonna fucking be great." Thoughts on Steven Spielberg being awesome and being there for, you know, short round?
The man continues to be awesome. I have nothing negative to ever say about Steven.
Hello, the main man.
Hell of a guy. Other than, you know, like he's best friends with George Lucas. It's like, But I'm excited for Love Hurts. I've been seeing the trailer for it a million times. It's everywhere. I
Looks
can't
great.
wait for it. Yeah, I love Ke-Huy Quan. So it's gonna be good. I'm excited.
I will say the best part of that trailer for me is just seeing Academy Award winner Ke-Huy Quan. That's like the best part for me. It always fills my heart with joy to be like,
Yes, for
yes,
sure.
our boy after so long.
So
and
deserving.
then he just does this one movie and just fucking absolutely kills it and gets an Oscar.
Down the door,
Like,
yeah.
let's fucking go, man. Like, that's like, it just goes to show that no matter, you could be 20, 40, 60, your life doesn't end when you hit 30, by the way, fucking ageist
right.
assholes. I know Demi Moore is trying to prove that with The Substance. So
Pamela
I'm
Anderson as well, yeah.
yes, Last Showgirl as well, which you think got snubbed, but you know,
I think
we're
she
past
did.
that
Like I said, I was expecting at the very least a nomination. I didn't think she would win it, but I'm disappointed she didn't even at the very least get nominated. But oh well.
Yeah, Ke-Huy Quan, awesome. Steven Spielberg being awesome. Apparently, Scary Movie 6 releases in theaters June 12th, 2026. Don't give a fuck. Never
Me
seen
neither.
one. Cool. Moving on.
Yep.
Oh, this one I can close it. Yay. So apparently, Bowman Arani's directorial debut, The Meta Boys, from Oscar-winning Birdman writer Alexander Dinelaris, sets Prime Video bow. I haven't heard of any of these people. I've heard of Birdman. I haven't heard of any of these other people. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, as a big fan of Bollywood films, there's still a lot out there that I haven't seen, so I am not familiar with this actor either, much to Dan's disappointment. But I mean, I'll see it. I'm always down for a good flick,
Sure.
So we'll see what happens. But yeah,
Cool. More Bollywood stuff. Dan, what are you trying to say? Bollywood star Randeep Hooda joins John Cena in the film Matchbox. I don't know who this guy is. I know John Cena. And Matchbox, is it about Matchbox cars? Is it about Matchbox 20? I don't know. And I don't feel like scrolling down. So thoughts?
I'll see it. Hopefully it's good.
Cool. Anyway, Squid Game. Apparently Squid Game scores 2024's biggest premiere. And then it was, the 2024's biggest letdown. Thoughts? Have you seen it?
I still haven't seen it yet. It's on the list. I enjoyed the first season. I've been waiting patiently for the second season. But there's a lot out there, so I'll get to it when I get to it.
Haven't seen it. I didn't watch it out of spite because everyone said it was the greatest show ever. So I'm like, fuck you. No, I don't want to watch it. So yeah.
Bitter.
All right. Another, little thing. Apparently, I don't know what the thing is. Hang on. Apparently Kendrick Lamar enlists somebody, SZA, as special guest for Super Bowl. I don't listen to Kendrick Lamar. I don't listen to SZA. Thoughts?
SZA's real big. SZA's real big right now. She is in.
You also said Robbie Williams is big, and I still don't know who the fuck he is.
That doesn't even make sense. I can't with you. But anyway, no, SZA is also in one of them days with Keke Palmer right now. Every time I'm in the movie theater and somebody walks by that poster, all they say is, "Oh, that's SZA." So SZA's huge right now. Good move by Kendrick Lamar. I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be great.
The man.
Can't wait.
He takes the piss out of Drake. That's why I like him.
100%.
So, that's cool. Like, I respect it. I don't listen to hip hop very much, but I know, like, Kendrick, from what little I've heard of his music, he's like, this sounds good to me. Like, I know he's an immensely talented dude, so it's like,
he wrote
that's cool.
So it's gonna, it's gonna be great. I'm looking forward to it. I love SZA. I love Kendrick, so I'm really excited about it. And, cool. It's going to make all the Chads, Brads, and Dads pissed off because, once again, it's hip-hop at the Super Bowl, and they just can't.
Oh, no. Anyway, we care what we think. Anyway. But asshole, Matthew Lillard. Apparently, it's his 55th birthday today. Still
Hopefully, I'm meeting him this year. Fingers crossed.
Oh, my God. That would be amazing.
I've heard nothing but wonderful things about the man.
And as the Big Cheese said, the best Shaggy there will ever be.
Oh, yes. I completely agree with that.
Correct. Yeah, and 100%. The only reason to watch the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. That and Josh Hutcherson.
Yeah, I have not seen that. I want to see it.
Don't watch it. Don't.
No?
I will, for FNAF 2, I'll watch it when it hits streaming if Matthew Lillard has a big role.
That's what we're calling it, FNAF?
FNAF, that's what it's been called for years, FNAF.
Okay.
But Five Nights at Freddy's, I mean, good games from what I've heard. The movie, like, despite the amazing puppetry and animatronic, they look straight out of the games. Like, they look so good.
That's cool.
They're by the Jim Henson Company. They're all practical.
Well, there you are. Yeah.
So it looks great. It's just they're stuck in a Garbo movie. So, But Matthew Lillard, never Garbo, always understands the assignment.
Wonderful person.
The best Shaggy.
Wonderful human being.
The best William Afton, just all over great. We love Matthew Lillard here. And if you don't love Matthew Lillard, the door is right there.
Yeah, we'll be seeing you.
Fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Peace out. Yeah.
Caitlin Dever apparently has been cast in the next Godzilla Kong movie. Thoughts?
Okay. Great. Good for her. I'll see it. It'll probably be mid like all the other ones, but congratulations.
Cool. I like Caitlin Dever. Good actress. I like the Godzilla Kong movies. They're a ton of fun. I like all the MonsterVerse movies. Well, except the first Godzilla. That one kind of sucked. But, like, the rest of them are good. So, cool. Next up, Fede Alvarez says Ripley will not return for the Alien Romulus sequel. Yeah. I mean, we kind of gathered that Sigourney Weaver publicly stated she will never come back as Ellen Ripley, and frankly, I don't want Fede Alvarez to ruin the character like they already did with bringing Ian Holm back from the dead in horrible CGI. So,
I mean, that's fair, but part of me's still hopeful because Ripley's just the absolute fucking goat. But it is what it is. I mean, she's older too, so it's like, how much is she really willing to do? She's busy with Avatar. She's busy setting world records for holding her breath underwater, so, whatever.
It's like, plus she died in Alien 3, so that's where it ended for me. But then finally we have, apparently a Resident Evil reboot is in the works. Zach Kreger, who is in charge of Barbarian and the upcoming Companion, is writing and directing, will take the franchise to its horror roots and be more faithful to the initial games. Thank fucking God! Finally, Jesus fucking Christ, after 400 horrible movies, we can actually get this, because the fucking Mia Jovovich movie sucked, the fucking Netflix movie sucked, the fucking show with the poor late Lance Reddick sucked. Resident Evil deserves some goddamn love. So hopefully this will, steer it right around on track. So you know what? Hopefully Resident Evil fans can actually get a good movie for once, like the Silent Hill fans, at least with the first one. So, thoughts?
I mean, I personally love Mila, and she's pretty much the only reason I ever watched any of the Resident Evil films, because I know nothing about the games or the storyline. So I'm disappointed she's not going to be in this part, but okay. I mean, I'll probably see it too, so. Whatever.
Cool. But we're done with the bossa nova music. But I'm sorry. We have to move on. But thanks for watching the news segment. Don't worry, guys. Don't go away just yet. We are going to be,
smash those likes. Stick around.
Smash the
likes.
We're going to get into MCU Weekly. Then we're going to get into DCU Daily. We're going to be, getting all the things, doing all the things. So just don't leave yet. But please do give us likes. As Liz said, give us some likes. We need some likes.
All the likes. All
the likes for all the things, and commenting. Keep your comments coming. Hugo Millie. Oh wow. She's like, hey Liz, hearts, and then just hey John, period. I see how it is, Hugo. I'm not going to give you any more beard stroking because of that.
Oh boy.
It was just a quick thing, Hugo. We just, talked about it for a little bit. It was a quick hit. I'm happy that, apparently Zach Krieger is going to be writing and directing. It's going to be actual faithful to the games. So that sounds fun. And he, Companion looks great. Barbarian was awesome. So
Companion
that's
great.
That's the only thing you missed. But thank you for the Dolphins, main man. But let's get into Liz's part of the woods, MCU. We're going to be talking about some, Captain America 4, because some things are getting updated in regards to this. Liz looks very happy about that.
We have 3 weeks to the movie. What are we doing?
So apparently Brave New World, Dan and I talked about this the other day. They're tracking for a promising 90 million plus US box office debut back when, because before it was like 84 to 95, then it said 95 plus, now it's 90 million plus. What are your thoughts on this? We've talked about it kind of a lot, so I'm curious.
Yeah, I feel like we've well, and again, we can speculate all day. Like I said, they have done a real push this past month, really, to get new content out there, different posters, all this. Too little, too late, in my opinion. Again, I'm gonna see it. I'm probably gonna enjoy it. Is it gonna be the greatest Marvel film that we've seen in a long time? No. Hopefully it will lead to, it'll make the connection between the next coming projects. That's what I'm really mainly looking forward to. But these numbers aren't exactly surprising to me, so good luck to them.
Yeah. But not a ton is coming out around that time. Apparently the new Paddington movie is supposed to be coming out around that time. So
pumped about that.
I didn't see that on the list of movies, but if that's the case, yeah, we know who the winner. It's going to be Paddington.
Yeah.
100%. I didn't realize, because I was talking about this the other day and I'm like, nothing else is coming around that time. So obviously it has no competition. Of course it's going to get a shit ton of money. And then I didn't realize that Paddington was coming out that weekend. So I was like, oh no, it's going to fucking lose a painful death. Okay, that's going to die. That's going to fucking die. So it's going to be like Sonic versus Mufasa. So Paddington, that's going to, cute cuddly animals are going to beat other, big shit. But yeah, so Brave New World, definitely, that's cool. I mean, if it makes money, great. If it doesn't, I don't care. I'm not watching.
It'll make money. It's not going to make as much as they want it to. I certainly don't even know that it'll cover the budget to make the film in the first place. But again, it's Disney. They don't care. They have other things going on. And it's, like I said, it's just, if anything, it's just going to give you kind of like a taste for what's to come throughout the rest of the year. And that's all they care about.
So apparently, yeah, it's whatever. But apparently, we got these cool new international posters, which I will say, very cool.
Yeah, they are cool, but again, too little, too late, in my opinion. Like, why? Where were they 6 months ago when you were
I
first
don't know what
advertising this?
language
Like,
this is. It looks really cool though. This looks better than most movie posters released in
yeah,
America. So ironic, Captain America getting international posters that are heavily entrenched in others' cultures, which that's cool.
yeah.
So yeah, cool new international posters. And then, this is surprising. This is the new Chinese poster, and it has the black guy front and center, not masked. That's crazy. Maybe
It is
China is finally learning to not be racist against black people.
They're getting
So
progressive. Watch
yeah,
out.
getting super progressive because we saw what happened to Finn. We saw what happened to T'Challa. Not good things. I'm surprised like Red Hulk isn't like the main, it's like
Yeah.
China, communism, Red Hulk, perfect. So it's very interesting that he's in the background and black guys up front. So very interesting. Very interesting. Way to go, China. Like one time you're not a piece of shit. Anyway, now we're gonna get
That
new.
was John, not me, China. Just
Uh and then speaking of old school Marvel, you just mentioned it. Audiences are going to really appreciate bringing it back to old school Marvel. Do you think this is going to bring it back to old school Marvel? And if so, what exactly old school Marvel? Profit, quality, vibes? What do
I
you
think, I think vibes. I think vibes for sure. I think story, again, we're hungry for new characters. We're hungry for a different storyline. The multiverse is going to cover a lot of that. Again, as much as I'm not a huge fan of
Oh
multiverse,
wait,
um,
hang on. You got to cut that for a bit. Apparently, we were wrong. Caleb Richardson in the chat is telling us that's not China's poster. They were wrong about that. That's the Taiwan poster. Okay, here we go. And apparently, the
it
China
makes
poster
way more sense.
has him wearing the mask. That makes way more sense. Thank you, Caleb Richardson,
Unfortunately.
for the correction. Turns
Yeah.
out China's still racist. Cool.
Again,
Sorry.
China, that was John, not me. Thank you. China.
So sorry, you were saying, Liz. I didn't mean to interrupt, but I felt like that was an important thing we needed to correct. Thank you, Caleb Richardson.
Yeah.
We very much appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks, Caleb. No, I was just saying, as far as the old school comment, I think, just vibes and again, introducing us to the next new wave of characters, of storyline. It'll be exciting. So yeah, I'm gonna see it again. I'm hoping I like it. I expect that I will, but will it be my favorite? No. So
Yeah, it just I've boycotted Marvel, and I will only be super selective out of the stuff I've interested in, like your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, which we'll be getting into soon, which apparently reviews for like are incredibly positive, by the way. So eat a dick, guys. No, I'm just kidding. But I think it looks like a good show, and I feel like I'm alone here. Like it looks so cool, and it's like everyone's like, this looks like dog shit. I'm like, God damn it, I can't win anyway. So I don't know. It just like I would want to be excited for this, but I feel like it's just too convoluted. Rate the time is just too small. Like it's less than 2 hours long. Like Red Hulk, Leader, Betty Ross, like it's too much. Too
well,
little.
and again, as someone had said in the chat too, that they're making Red Hulk out to be like he's the main villain, which he's not.
Apparently,
So
he's in the movie
that
for
regard,
only 4 minutes. That's like the
yeah.
rumor right now.
Well, but in that regard, I think if anything, that might be a positive because it's we're not getting the entire film in the trailer, which it has happened in the past with other things.
And also,
so I
he's
think
a
in
Hulk
that regard,
villain,
that's good.
not a Captain America villain.
Yeah, that they're not giving too much away. I think is good. So we'll see. I mean, we're all about the popcorn bucket right now, so that's all that matters.
That popcorn bucket, like I would sell my child for that popcorn bucket. It looks baller. Like
and that's
straight
John
up.
saying that, gang. That's pretty. Yeah, that's.
I mean
else.
that, and I hate Marvel. I'm the guy who hates Marvel now. So like although I love this. Famous last words. Looks like shit. Still, Marvel is dead. So laughing emoji. The captain I knew would never lie to me. This movie looks like the TV show they gave him. Terrible. Oh, is it too like it's just like getting absolutely ratioed in the comments. Way to go, guys. Anyway, but speaking of your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, apparently Hugh Dancy, a little fucking Hannibal fame, is going to be voicing Doc Ock
Yeah,
in Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man.
good
That's
for
really
him.
cool. Like,
Yeah.
I would never expect Hugh Dancy to get like a superhero role
No.
unless I'm like totally like, but like
I mean, who knows?
missing something.
Maybe he's just a huge fan and it's been something that he's, like, let me get
Wanted
in
to
there
do.
somehow kind of thing. Yeah, good for him.
I could honestly see him in another universe. Like, even though Charlie Cox is perfect, I could see him as Daredevil. Like, I could see like has him like a like. I think he could
That's
do
fair.
that role
I'll give that to
well.
you. Yeah. No, that's fair.
In terms of just, I mean, he's a great actor, and I think he could do that role very well. It's just like Charlie Cox is just so perfect now that we can't.
I mean,
Like,
yeah.
that's just for the
Yeah.
win. He's a very good lawyer.
Facts.
He's a very
Straight
good lawyer.
facts. Yeah. Hugo
You know,
said she could see him as Bruce Banner. I
Bruce
can see that as
Banner is
well.
another one. Yes, I
100%.
could see Hugh
100%.
Dancy as Bruce Banner
Excellent
as well.
comment there. Thank you, Hugo. Absolutely.
Definitely.
Completely agree.
I mean, I'm not like boycotting Marvel. It's just like I'm just not. I mean, I guess boycotting is a strong word. It's just I'm not interested in any of their movies. Like, I just like Thor: Love and Thunder fucking broke me, guys. It fucking broke me emotionally, internally. Like, it is still to this day the worst movie I have ever seen. Period. Not just the worst superhero. Not the worst Thor. It's the worst movie. It insulted me on a personal level with how bad it was.
Clearly, someone was triggered. Okay.
I was, because it's terrible, but it's just like that, like, ruined me, and I just can't be invested. Like, I'm still intrigued with some stuff. Like, I'm gonna watch Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. I'm trusting my friend. If he says Daredevil's good, I will watch it. And then if like most people say
Daredevil's gonna be good. What are you talking about?
Because it's by Disney. I don't trust Disney. And Fantastic Four, if that's good, I will watch it. But like, I just can't. And
Yeah,
you know,
wait for my
Gunn,
review on that one, John. Don't waste your hard-earned dollars until you talk to me. I'll tell you that much.
But yeah, it's just like Fantastic Four. I want it to be good, but it's like, I
Well,
don't know.
again, we've been burnt in the past, and I, like I said,
Quite
I
literally
will see
4
it, and I
times.
will right, and I will let you know, because I refuse to let anyone waste their money on a bad Marvel film. So
I
if
mean, I
it's
already wasted money on Popcorn Bucket, so like, I'm the loser who does that.
first of all,
Thank you, TC24. It is the worst
movie.
movie. No lies told. Thank you. Vindication.
Yeah,
Play the Andrew Brower
figure
clip.
drawing. It's not worse than Madam Web. Madam Web is by far.
Madam Web was more enjoyable.
I don't
as a movie.
understand how you still can say that Madam Web is not the worst. Madam Web is
at least
100 unequivocally % the worst Marvel film.
I got
that
more
ever
entertainment value out of that than Thor: Love and Thunder.
Well, that's
ever.
a real shame. No.
Yeah.
No. False.
It's worse than every Sonyverse movie combined. At least I enjoy some of those movies. But anyway, so Hugh Dancy being our new Doc Ock, that's pretty awesome. But we did get a new teaser from Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, which is great, because it's like, I just like the vibe I get from this is
super cute.
We're getting a lot of Steve Ditko vibes, which is great. We're getting, we're getting Doctor Strange, which I know for some people is a bit much. And Charlie Cox as Daredevil also in his Shadowlands outfit, it seems like. I just think I like the feel, I like the look, I like the vibe. And this Peter Parker actually feels like Peter Parker, unlike Tom Holland, where we had to wait 2.5 movies to have him actually feel like Peter Parker. So there's that. So, I like the overall vibe here. And plus, Coleman Domingo is going to be a part of it, guys. Come on.
I mean,
Oscar nominated, by the way, this year for Sing Sing. And
he doesn't miss, that man. He doesn't
miss. He doesn't. So, you know what? Shut up. I'm just kidding. But I don't know. Like, I get kind of cool vibes from the show, and I like that suit. Again, I forget the name of it. Let me know in the comments, guys. I always forget the name of the white suit. Anyway, but yeah, so in the trailer, we did get our first, again, as I was saying, very like 70s kind of Steve Ditko kind of vibes from this. Thoughts on this version of Doctor Strange, or are you just like, whatever?
Yeah, okay. I mean, I'm good either way. I hope it's great. So, okay. I really don't have an opinion one way or the other.
Yeah. But I don't know. It just looks cool to me. So yeah, and apparently the full theme for Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man has been released. So if you guys Neighbor Like Me, performed by the Math Club, if you want to go check that out, go to the Nerd Talk show and click the link because apparently it's out. So cool. I'm probably not going to be listening to that. I mean, I'm going to be, watching the show, so I'm going to be hearing the theme anyway. But if you guys want to hear it prior to the show, then by all means, it's going to be premiering on Disney Plus in 5 days, less than a week, guys. So get pumped, I guess. Or if you're just angry all the time about the show, then don't get pumped. I don't know. But apparently, Natasha Lyonne teases interstellar vibes in the Fantastic Four First Steps. It is all very interstellar type stuff coming at it from different directions. Now, here's the thing. I was initially kind of mad at this as we were for the backstage. However, reading the quote a little bit deeper, do you think they're actually talking about the movie Interstellar or like actual interstellar, like the actual definition interstellar? Like,
now that you've
cosmic
asked
stuff?
that question, that makes way more sense. I would, because to me,
because it's
thinking
not
of it-
capitalized,
right?
Look,
to me, thinking of it in the movie regard, I was like, so people are going to be stranded on deserted planets. Like, what do you even mean? But no, that makes way more sense. The interstellar vibes, not the film, and the actual. Yeah, that makes way more
Interstellar.
sense. And that
That
okay,
makes way
then,
more
yeah,
sense.
and that's okay.
I got mad for nothing. God damn it. I just saw the fucking image and I'm like, oh, you got don't fucking compare yourself to Christopher Nolan.
It's the damn image's fault, right?
And
No, now that you've broken it down like that, makes
Fuck you
way
for getting
more
me
sense.
angry. Now I'm angry
Makes
at
way
you.
more
Poor
sense.
Natasha Lyonne. Sorry, Natasha Lyonne. I know you're a good actress, so I don't blame you. But I'm just saying, goddamn, fucking Daily Cosmic Marvel getting mad for no reason, losers. I have a lot of reasons for being mad. Like, this goddamn chat makes me mad constantly for being rude to me. But yeah, that's cool. Yeah, Fantastic Four is inherently a cosmic concept. That's where they got their powers.
Yeah,
the villain is going to be Galactus and Silver Surfer.
Way more sense.
So that makes sense. It's going to be cosmic shit. So I don't know why she didn't say cosmic stuff, but it's like I like that idea. Like, it's not going to be like totally. I'm curious with how they do it because it is like retrofuturism. So it's like I'm really curious how they're going to do that because we've seen cosmic stuff in like how are you going to differentiate yourself in other like MCU stuff, like because we've gotten like Infinity War and Endgame, and we've got the Guardians movie. Guardians was more of like a punk rock kind of vibe in like the 80s, and then like Infinity War Endgame felt very modernized, and then like then you're gonna have this 60s vibe. So I'm curious how they're gonna make it seem like kind of different from all that. So I hope that they do like some different stuff with this, different like different cosmic ideas when it comes to this universe. So right. I'm kind of stoked for that part, but obviously we'll have to see. But yeah, sorry, Natasha Lyonne. Fuck you, Daily Cosmic Marvel. Anyway, apparently Black Panther star Sterling K. Brown wants to return to the MCU. I would love to come back to the Marvel Universe. Absolutely. Please have me back. Please, please. Thank you.
We'd love to have you.
Honestly, I would like to see him. Like, I think he could be like an alternate universe. Like, he became Black Panther while T'Chaka didn't. That could be like a cool kind of thing.
Don't say that because they're gonna do season 4 of What If, and they're gonna have that happen. Don't say that.
God damn it. But honestly, Sterling K. Brown, amazing actor. Like, again, if RDJ wasn't nominated, I'd say Sterling K. Brown should have won it for Holdovers, or not Holdovers. Jesus Christ, sorry, American Fiction. I was like,
he was something else in American Fiction. Woo!
I was like, whoa. No, Jeffrey Wright. Also amazing performance, but it's just like because I always think of the two movies because like Oppenheimer deserved it, don't get me wrong, but two movies that I think like were really close to like also like if those two movies got the award, I would not be mad. I would be really happy with Holdovers and American Fiction. So those are the two movies I always think of, Holdovers and American Fiction. So That's why I said holdovers.
That's
Apologies,
okay.
Sterling K.
You don't have to explain it to us, John. It's all good.
But Freudian slip.
But yeah,
Sterling
come
K.
on by. Love to have
Dude's fucking amazing.
And again, we're doing multiverse crap, so we could totally make it happen. Come on.
Yeah,
make him multiverse.
make him
bring
the
them all
alternate
by.
Black Panther that
do
you
whatever
want
you
to fucking
want.
get.
You tell us what you want to do. We'll have you. It's fine. It'll all work out.
Yeah. But it's just but we're moving on from MCU Weekly to DCU Daily. But another quick reminder to like and comment and subscribe, because we need your likes, guys. We gotta beat the YouTube algorithm. Like, come on.
Yeah.
And if you're not subscribed, be subscribed. Like, what are you doing here? If you're not subscribed,
what are you doing here?
No, I'm just.
What are you doing here?
I'm just kidding.
We're happy
We
to
love
have
you guys. We love and appreciate you. However, we got to talk a lot of stuff when it comes to the DC universe. So
links on links.
The biggest thing that everyone's talking about now, we just got it before we went live, was we now apparently have a Sinestro.
Yes. And it's been brought up in the chat like 5 times already.
Yeah, Manos, you brought it up.
You guys are on it.
Yeah, you all are on it. Manos was bringing. He's like, hey, I didn't see this in the thumbnail. Dan was like changing the thumbnail as we were fucking live, just to get like up on the news.
And yes, Manos, I have seen the first pick of Supergirl. Very exciting for that too. Yes.
But yeah, Ulrich Thomsen, who's been in he's a Danish actor, who's been in a lot of Danish things, but he was in like Kingdom of Heaven. He was in this movie called Killing Me Softly, not the Brad Pitt one. Stuff like that. He's been like a lot of smaller projects, but honestly, this is honestly really interesting. I mean, I know that a lot of people wanted like someone like Luke Evans or Hugh Laurie for Sinestro, but I think they're too big, and especially with the fact that this is such a smaller, TV production. I mean, they couldn't get like Timothy Olyphant or Ewan McGregor or Matthew McConaughey or Josh Brolin, so they had like, all right, we'll get Kyle Chandler, which isn't a bad thing. I love Kyle Chandler, but he's not like an A-lister like those guys. And obviously, you can't get like such a big name like Luke Evans. So you're like, let's get this Danish guy. So, and not to impede on him, but like I'm like, there's a lot of foreign actors that make a lot of really good bad guys. Look at Mads Mikkelsen. Like that dude is like a villain in everything, even though he's like
he's something else.
He's great.
Yeah. Also met him. Wonderful man.
But yeah, Ulrich Thomsen has been cast as Sinestro. Do you know anything about Sinestro, or you're like, nope, I'm out. I'm done.
I've heard the name. I understand that he is a part of the Lantern story. And he's got a red face there. But that's pretty much about it. And I also know nothing about Ulrich Thomsen. So hey, it'll be surprises all around for me.
But yeah, I don't know anything about Ulrich Thomsen, but for anyone who doesn't know,
again, in the chat, they're bringing up Banshee a lot here. You did mention Banshee.
I did mention that was the thing.
Yeah.
Banshee was the thing that was like, oh yeah, he was in that.
And apparently he's also appeared in the Blacklist. So okay, he was in Blacklist. So all right. So cool.
Okay,
at least you guys have heard of him. Great.
Manos is saying, and John, he kills it just by his voice alone. So I will trust you on that, Manos. And Caleb, did y'all talk about Bernard the Head Elf playing Zor-El when that was announced? Yes, we did talk about that.
Yes,
you got to go a couple episodes back.
A couple times.
That's great. Yes,
thank you, Antonio. I was aware of that. I did know that. Yeah.
Mark Strong played him before, and he famously played Thaddeus Cervana in the first Shazam film, and then cameoed in the second one. But yeah, this is, I think, cool casting. I mean, Sinestro was like said for years to be like the greatest Green Lantern. He trained Hal Jordan and, helped Hal Jordan to become the greatest Green Lantern. And then there was like some falling out with like the Guardians with Sinestro. And he's like, fuck you guys. I don't like how you're doing this shit. I'm going to start my own corps with blackjack and hookers. And I'm going to fucking have the yellow light of fear. And so while Green Lanterns rule by willpower, the Sinestro Corps, very ego name, by the way. Oh, we got green, we got indigo. I'm calling mine the Sinestro Corps. All right, guy, calm down. But he rules by fear, so a very interesting bad guy. Probably
Don't
one of
like
the
him
most
already. Okay.
one of the most legendary bad guys from the Green Lantern part of the DC universe. So there's that. Probably the greatest foe of the Green Lantern Corps. So yeah, I would imagine. I don't think he's gonna be like a main villain, obviously, because it's like, why the fuck would they announce this? Because like, oh look, it's the main villain. I think he's gonna appear in like flashbacks because that's like kind of the vibe I'm getting from this. Like, oh, Kyle Chandler's
Okay.
an older Green Lantern, so they're gonna have like flashbacks to him, like when he was a rookie, and all that. If I were to take a guess, and then we can bring him later on for like a later season if this is going to go for multiple seasons. So that's my theory.
Cool.
I don't know what your guys' thoughts on that is.
We shall see.
And apparently Manos is hating on it because of his age, even though he's a fantastic actor, but you can't please everyone. Yeah, apparently he's 61, but Kyle Chandler's 59.
Well, we should
So
say
like,
Manos is not hating on it. He's saying people are hating.
no, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's no, I said, yeah, people are hating on it. I didn't say
Yeah.
Manos was hating on it. Yeah. No, he's just letting us know that people are being assholes. So what a shock.
What
People
a
suck.
surprise. In this day, in 2025, wow.
It's only the current year. Anyway. But yeah, this is people going endless. I don't know what else to talk about with this, but I think I hope that we get him in a later season as like a full on villain, but I think we're only gonna get like a cameo flashback, because if it's revealed that it's like, oh, Sinestro is behind everything, it's like, okay, like cool,
Yeah.
but if it's gonna be like a smaller True Detective murder mystery, I would want to save him for something really big and epic. Like do like a smaller villain for this season and then do something later on for like a bigger season. Like, oh, we got a little more money to spare. Let's use Sinestro full force because he's a threat to be bargained with. So I would want to save him for like something better down the line.
Do you think maybe it might even be like an end credit scene thing? Like, do you think he will be in like it will be, I don't know, like, is he going to be like really at the tail end to kind of lead you into like the next thing?
Maybe.
I'm wondering. Yeah.
It's just like, here's the thing with all the theories I have going on in my head right now. It's just like, why announce it? Because he's a major villain. Like it's the most major villain. So it's like,
TC24 was saying it was reported it was going to be a recurring character, so they don't expect he'll be just a cameo part.
Okay, so I'm willing to bet he's in multiple episodes, but it's going to be flashback sequences where we have Kyle Chandler as young Hal Jordan getting, mentored by him, and that's the extent of it. I don't think we're going to be getting Sinestro as the main villain. It's entirely possible that he's, the puppet master, which I wouldn't mind seeing, but like again,
Like the
save
man
him for
behind the
something
curtain,
really
yeah.
big. But
Yeah.
I prefer to like, oh, he's just like in the background, like, oh, he's in the flashbacks, and like that's kind of the extent of it. I would, yeah, that's a fair point, Mr. Moody. Why would they announce him just for an end credit scene? Enterprising Sinestro Corps War, please give me. That would be awesome. Later on, that would be awesome. So that's the thing. In the article, it says in the series, but people are saying he might play a big part in the DCU.
Okay.
That's entirely possible. Maybe it's like the first big major threat. Maybe he will cameo in Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, since that's a cosmic thing. So, all right, I could see that too. Like they could do like a, it's like the Justice League versus, the Sinestro Corps, or it's, that, whatever it is, like, or just the Green Lanterns versus them. I don't know. They could do a lot of things with him. To Enterprising being like ageists,
Yeah. TC24 has a good comment that they don't want him to be a villain. They just want to build up the tension between him and Hal so that it makes sense later when he becomes full villain. So it could be something along those lines as well. And then Manos also said he'd rather wait for James Gunn's confirmation so then we can get, some true facts.
Yes,
what's
that
to
is
come.
fair.
That is a very good point. Yeah.
But it does come from Deadline, and I'll just click on the link here. Oh, apparently the page is not found.
Oh,
that's
boy.
interesting.
Interesting.
That's very interesting, guys. Okay, so now we got to bring out our
Maybe
salt
they jumped
lick.
the gun, eh? Oh boy.
We got to bring out our giant salt lick, which is our big giant grain of salt. So this might, because I saw the Deadline article, and James Gunn did say more often than not they are correct. So, we'll see. Maybe we could do some additional research, see if James Gunn has said anything about it. But a lot of people were talking about it, so let's talk about Ulrich Thomsen as Sinestro. But we have some other stuff to look into. So DC Supergirl first reveals Sasha Calle ex Millie Alcock. While Millie Alcock may be more comic accurate, Sasha Calle truly owned the role, bringing immense screen presence to a very shitty movie. She was undeniably one of the standout parts. Yes, I very much agree with that. I think I think, again, I've said many times, I'm on the fence. I want to like this movie more. I want to be invested. It's just there's a lot of things that make me be like, I don't know. But I hope it's good. I mean, and I do agree. Sasha Calle was one of the few good parts of that god-awful Flash movie. And, and the show was not good. But, I hope Supergirl has a bright future ahead of her. She's just such a great and kind of underrated character, and I want people to see her as her own character. She's not just Superman as a woman type thing that the show tried to fucking show us, because it's not true. She's her own character. It's not just Superman, but a woman. I don't like that. That's bullshit. She's her own awesome character. She's darker, has an edge to her. I really like that, and I think the vibe, especially with the logo, you can kind of see there. We're getting that vibe here, and I think we're going to be getting some great things in the future with this character. I'm just kind of iffy on that aspect on get Tom King anyway. But yeah, it's Jim Lee confirming this. He's reposting it, going, let's go. I mean, Jim Lee's an asshole, but it's nice that he's excited. Yeah, and people are saying, I'm guessing that's the bar where she'll encounter Lobo. Yeah, it's definitely, the background is definitely the bar where she wants to go to for 21st birthday and all that. So yeah, very cool. But moving on from Supergirl to back to Creature Commandos.
Oh boy.
David Harbour says that he doesn't know when he will be making his first live action debut as Frankenstein in the DCU. Yeah, you said this fucking twice already, David. I don't know why.
Well, if people are going to keep asking the question, he's got to keep giving them an answer.
Yeah, because people keep asking stupid ass questions.
They do. Again, it's 2025.
But I mean, he would look great. He would look awesome.
Oh yeah.
And
he'd be fine with it. He did Hellboy. He'd be all good.
Very cool, but yeah. But still speaking of Creature Commandos, the DCU's Creature Commandos official soundtrack is now available on Spotify, which is great. Yes. I thought the soundtrack was not as good as the Guardians movies, but still
Start
fun.
Wearing purple, bitches. It's so good.
Sure.
It's appropriate for the show.
It's appropriate for the show. That's what I'm saying. Very, very fun. But apparently we got more behind the scenes for Superman. I don't know why we're showing this.
Get in the hole. Get in the hole. He's in a hole, gang.
In a hole.
He ends up in a hole. Okay.
Anyway, there's my Bill Murray, guys. But this is cool. I don't know why we didn't see this last July when they were fucking doing all of this. So
any movie making something else, you guys. Just crazy. Just crazy.
That looks like, I think that's Eddie Gathegi in civilian clothes, if I were to guess, from the haircut. Okay. But yeah, apparently James Gunn loves a guy named Rob. What is it?
All
What does
right.
the shirt say? Anyway. But yeah, cool. I guess.
Yeah.
Here, I guess Dan was really feisty for some links because why we're watching this, I don't know. Anywho,
I don't know why we're watching that, and he didn't zoom in on the bulge. I mean, that's very
yeah.
surprising for me.
So apparently, a new comic series, Superman Unlimited, will launch in May written by very controversial writer Dan Slott and art by Raphael Albuquerque. Interesting name. The series follows the aftermath of a massive kryptonite asteroid hitting Earth and Superman having to deal with everyone having access to his greatest weakness. Honestly, that sounds like a cool, very cool.
That's an interesting. Yeah, that's a very interesting concept. That Superman drawing, though, the man looks thick. I mean, what are we doing here? Looks like he's doing the
look
Elvis
at that
diet.
jawline.
Yeah, he's got the Elvis diet going on. I don't know.
Ouch.
Eat a salad, my love. Just saying.
I'm sure he eats salads. I'm sure. Yeah. Oh, I agree with that. Enterprising. I definitely agree. I want them to actually use her rogue gallery, not a Superman hand-me-down, for heaven's sake. I agree.
For heaven's sake.
Supergirl deserves her own legion of great villains instead of just like, oh yeah, let's just get John Cryer as Lex Luthor because we have nobody else. It's like, bitch, you could fucking like, guys, come on.
Not to shit on John Cryer, but yeah.
Here's the thing: his fucking Lex Luthor, hilarious. It was like, I mean, the show was dog shit at that point, but he was like going full Silver Age Looney Tune Lex Luthor, and I fucking loved every second of it. It was pretty much what everyone else thinks of Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor. That's what I thought of John. Just so ridiculous, so stupid, but I couldn't help but enjoy it. It was so bad, but like, I mean, the writing was terrible, but he was like
you
having
enjoyed
so
it.
much
That's all
fun
that
with
matters.
Oh yeah, he was having so much fucking fun with it. It was great. But yeah. John Cryer, Mia River. Seriously though, that casting was off. When that was announced, I'm like, oh, this show has really jumped the shark now. And then when I saw it, I'm like, oh no, he actually let him cook. And he's like, one of the first things he says when he's getting sentenced to prison, he's like, Superman made me do it. Like, just like with a full like sarcastic edge. I'm like, yeah, you tell him, John Cryer. Whoever thought Alan from fucking, 2.5 Men would be a decent Lex Luthor, probably in all the wrong ways, but it's still a ton of fun. But yeah, it's cool for the comics. I don't know if I'll read it. Dan Slott's not one pretty controversial dude in terms of his writing. I don't like hate him or anything. I think he's since proven himself, but he's also has a lot of bad comics under his belt, but he's got some good stuff too.
Can't win them all.
But you know how it is. But like, maybe I'll give this a read. But don't worry, I'll read Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow this weekend, guys, so I actually know what I'm talking about when I talk about the movie. So
sweet.
Just letting you know. So James Gunn liking to take it from the back. James Gunn loves taking it from the back. So we got all this
Sean
stuff.
That made that. That was not me. That's not my comment.
Actually, someone else in the chat made that joke yesterday. So but yeah, Manos saying Gunn does love those back shots. I think Manos might have made that joke before. Yes, that is true. John Cryer will always be Ducky. But funnily enough, John Cryer was in Superman 4 Quest for Peace as Lex Luthor's nephew. So like everything came full circle.
That is interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Figure drawing Supergirl cast was very good. Trash writing. Yeah, pretty much. Melissa Benoist could have been really good as like comic accurate Supergirl, but they just made her female Clark Kent. And then they made like Jimmy Olsen like extremely cool black guy for some reason. Like when he's like supposed to be a full dork. And then they made like Win the de facto Jimmy Olsen. And it's like, you could have just had that. Like, I don't get it. But like one of the few good things we got out of that show was Tyler Hoechlin, who eventually owned the role with Superman and Lois. So I guess that's good. But yeah, I liked Callista Flockhart for a little bit, and then I liked Katie McGrath as Lena Luthor. I mean, it was a good cast, good show. It's just you know, good. It was a good show, like for the first season, like, but then it just went downhill real quick, and that's kind of a shame. But it is what it is. But again, James Gunn loves taking those back shots. Loves. This is what DC's cooking. This is what the DC is cooking, not The Rock, because The Rock refused to, play with the big boys, and now he's not changing the hierarchy of the DC universe himself. But but apparently, Warner Brothers is set to hold a CinemaCon panel on April 1st. Very suspicious date. Last year, James Gunn hinted at a major Superman showcase featuring the full cast. So, what are your thoughts on this? Because you know more about CinemaCon.
Dude, I want to go to CinemaCon so bad, but I mean, it's cool, good for them. It's I'm sure we'll hear some more, maybe not necessarily spoilers, but maybe some more hints as to what we'll be getting in the film, and it's going to be cool. I'm just super jealous for anybody that gets to go.
Yeah. I mean, isn't it like $2,000 a ticket or something like that? Like
Yeah, it's something along those lines. I mean, essentially, that's what it boils down to when you include airfare and hotel and all that good stuff. So,
yeah,
won't be catching me there anytime soon, but one of these days, maybe.
You know how it is. Anyway, but probably the biggest news before we got the fucking Sinestro news, which was Bane x Deathstroke. Apparently, this is getting fast tracked. Development and production on the DCU's live action. So they're confirming it's live action, not an animation like some people rumored it to be. And Deathstroke and Bane film is reportedly being fast-tracked over at DC Studios. Now, some people have made rumors about this. We know, unfortunately, Joe Manganiello isn't reprising his role, even though it's a different universe, which is a shame. But
it is a shame.
We did a bit of fan casting in regards to Bane. Not Deathstroke, but I think this is a cool idea. It's just like, I don't know if villain movies are kind of the way to go, especially with how like people view the Sony verse, because like even though most of those movies aren't villains, aren't about, the only one that's like villain turned good guy was Craven. So most of those were like other heroes, so like it's whatever. But yeah, I don't know of how good that'll be, but as long as they get good names attached, I think it could be a lot of fun. I know a lot of people were like, "Oh, it's going to set up a Secret Six movie or something like that." That could be a cool idea, but from what little you know about Bane and Deathstroke, what are your thoughts about this apparently getting fast track? Again, this is just a rumor.
I mean, yeah, I do prefer a live action film, provided that it's done the right way, that it doesn't look too shoddy. So okay, we'll see what happens.
I mean, that could be awesome. Manos. Josh Brolin as Deathstroke. I mean, he said no to Hal Jordan, but apparently he's retired now because Denis Villeneuve didn't get nominated for director. So obviously he's got to retire now. That's the thing. I don't know. I've seen a lot. I think Stephen Lang could be a good Deathstroke. It's just that he's busy with all the fucking Avatar sequels, so I don't think he'll be able to do that. But I think Josh Brolin could be really good. I don't think Joe Manganiello is going to come back, unfortunately, because he would have been so awesome. It would have been so fucking good to see him again, like properly, and not just like, oh, look, we do have something to celebrate. And that's it. That's all we get. Which is, sad days, but tis life.
His life.
But this sounds like a cool idea. Like, I think,
Yeah. Again, if it's executed properly and it's, for sure.
Because I mean, you have the actual antithesis of Batman, Bane, and then people who think the villain who people think is the antithesis of Batman with Deathstroke. Because everyone's saying, "Oh, Deathstroke's a Batman villain." He's not a Batman villain. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. He's not a Batman villain. Get the fuck out of here.
Manos wants to know if there's going to be some origin stories. James doesn't like them famously, but when it comes to characters that are a little less well known, maybe. I mean, I wouldn't mind it myself personally, but I mean, maybe not Bane, because Bane I feel like we've gotten at this point. But Deathstroke, I'd like to know a little bit more about their backstory. So we'll see what happens.
But it's just, I'm curious with how they would do that, because Deathstroke's backstory is heavily reliant on the Teen Titans. So like
Okay.
well, not maybe not heavily reliant, but like kind of reliant on that. So
Yeah.
like I'm curious with how those two projects will, I don't know if they'll go hand in hand or what. No, and I'm curious what this would be about. I'm curious, like I'm always curious about villain team ups because I feel like villain team ups are always like for the birds. Like they never work out because they're villains and they're selfish and they want to go after their own interests. So I'm curious how this
Mm,
dynamic would work. They're both
sure.
extremely intelligent villains because you think about both these guys, they're all brawn, but they're really brain and brawn. That's like what makes them interesting villains and what makes them so scary. It just I feel like DC doesn't know what to fucking do with Bane anymore, which is sad. But
Yeah.
Deathstroke is interesting. I think he's a good DC villain. I don't think he's not just a Batman villain. He's more Teen Titans Nightwing villain because he's closely related to that idea. But he's just like all encompassing DC because he's like a hitman. He's like a bounty hunter. He's like that
Right.
kind of thing where he like does like, okay, whatever, I'll kill anyone for the right price kind of thing. And he has, been like Batman in the comics, like almost never holds his own against Deathstroke. He one shots him like 15 times in the games, but like in the comics, he never can hold the fight. So I hope we get someone. I hope Deathstroke isn't nerfed, and I hope Bane isn't nerfed because these are both extremely powerful villains at their peak. So I hope that they can actually do that properly because they're both really and they're not just like, oh, like glorified henchmen like Bane was in Batman and Robin. They're like actually like really fucking like intriguing villains. So I hope we actually get that um in the pantheon of the DCU and not just like, oh, like look at how, and then the Batman comes in and fucking kills them, blah, 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 or whatever. Not kills them. He doesn't kill, um, but yeah. So
But he
Man of
doesn't have to
saying,
save you either.
that's like saying Doctor Doom is an Avengers villain. He's more of a Reed Richards villain. It just happens to cross over with other members. Yeah, I would say Doctor Doom is like general Marvel villain because he just hates Reed Richards the most because Reed Richards is a fucking asshole. So like fair. Like I'd side with Doom. I mean, he even, I mean, Santa Claus even gave him like uh gave Doctor Doom gifts. Like, come on. Like, I love the Santa Clauses of both Marvel and DC Universe. Marvel Universe, straight up, like, actually, this is comic book canon that Santa Claus in the Marvel Universe is an Omega level mutant and like can like fucking like, which is like, by the
That
way,
tracks.
that's
That
like
tracks.
Jean Grey levels like of
Yep.
powerful. So, and he actually he gave
level 5.
lemon scented armor polish to Doctor Doom, and he's like, give this man his milk and cookies. Great stuff. And then the DC version, always every Christmas he barrels his way through the armies of Apocalypse just to give Darkseid a lump of coal.
There you are.
So I fucking love it. Love that. So like, yeah, we need but going back to Deathstroke and Darkseid, or not Darkseid, sorry, Deathstroke and Bane. Cool idea. I hope they do it right. I agree, TC24. I think they should bring Nightwing into it. I think that would be a really cool idea. But again, with Teen Titans, I don't know what they're gonna do. So obviously we'll see. But I hope they can make this timeline and continuity work because I know, even though James Gunn said, "Oh, we got to wait till the script is done," but then he's fast tracking other stuff over other scripts. So that can kind of be a confusing thing for continuity and timeline wise. That's another big con of James Gunn's like script mentality is like, well, if you have like a set timeline and then you're like, oh, but this script is done first before this one and I'm okay with it. Well, we're going to do this movie first. Well, then what's the continuity and timeline? I understand like it can be a free-flowing narrative, but like sometimes it can be like kind of awkward. It's like, oh, if you're going to be doing a Deathstroke and Bane movie before a Teen Titans movie and they include Nightwing, well, now you can't really have, especially if it's an older Nightwing, well, you can't have that be part of the Teen Titans, so you got to like redo some stuff if you originally planned to do like a younger Dick Grayson. So it's like, I don't know. That's just me being heavy comic book nerd, I guess. It's just like that's the stuff I think about. I don't know if like anybody else cares about that. Yeah. Alan Ritchson as Bane? No.
Just for
Let's
the
not.
body work. Just for the body.
Well,
Thank
let's
you,
try to
Manos.
get a
Manos gets
Hispanic.
it.
Let's try to get a Hispanic actor for
Okay,
Bane
fine.
since he's Cuban. I'm just saying, like,
Well, then
don't
good. Let him
whitewash.
be Batman. That'll make me happy too.
Well, let's see if we can get some acting lessons before then.
First of all.
But we do have a bit of, some fan comments that we do want to get into before we head out. I mean, it's kind of Q&A. Well, I mean, some of them are questions, some of them are not, but we're not doing Bossa Nova movies, so don't start dancing. So Enterprising, who is in the chat,
Hey, Enterprising, thank you.
speaking of world's finest, there is a series of a Trinity comics that exclusively focus on the big three. I wonder, could they do something like that instead? Now, I don't remember the context for this, but I think you were just talking about like general movie stuff. But it did bring me up. Like, I would love to see a Trinity movie. Like, I'd love to see a movie that's about Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman, because I think that would be a really good like trifecta dynamic. Because I remember the Trinity Rebirth comics were really good. So I'd like to see something like that. So also, although Azul Ape is giving us, you know, he's saying he's going to be a great perfect Sinestro. Well, we don't know if Ulrich Thomsen is 100% Sinestro, because that might be just a rumor and that might be just the grain of salt. So, but if he is, glad you gave your okay. But Enterprising, going back to your question, yeah, I would love to see a Trinity movie. I think that would be like it would get us to like what we want to see, like Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman working together without having to do like a whole Justice League movie or like something grander than that. Because like yes, technically Batman versus Superman was like a Trinity movie, but like that was just for like the last half hour. So that wasn't really like anything substantial. But I'd love to see like specifically a Trinity movie. I don't know, Liz, if you have any thoughts about that, but
Not at all. I don't know anything we're talking about.
So, well, it's just like the Trinity is Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman of DC, and they usually interact a lot, even outside of Justice League. So, I think that would just be really awesome to see. Plus, that would give us something for Wonder Woman to have, since we don't have anything in regard to that outside of the prequel Paradise Lost, which she's not going to appear in because it takes place like 1,000 years before the birth of Diana Prince. So I think a Trinity movie would be really cool. Enterprising, I don't know if you liked your answer, but yes, you are correct though, Enterprising. Going off of the Bane stuff, I don't think Bane's backstory has been explored faithfully though. That is very true, because we did get it in Dark Knight Rises, but that was not very accurate in terms of the comic. So I'd like to see a slightly more accurate Bane. But yeah, Trinity movie would be awesome, or like a Trinity like mini series, I think would be awesome. But Elite Easy agreeing with me, saying, agree. I think Katana will be an adult. But what I want to say, regardless of the lineup, I'd like to see the Outsider somewhere. I think after Young Justice majorly fumbled the Outsiders in the show, I would like to see the Outsiders. I think it's just a really cool group. And it's sort of like, again, it's another team you can bring in without bringing in the Justice League. If you want to avoid Justice League stuff as much as possible with the controversy that happened with the movie we got, I think that would be really cool. I think, it's got some, again, plus it's what James Gunn likes. James Gunn loves bringing in weirder D-list heroes and villains, bringing them in, not focusing on the super important stuff. And we'll get to that because Asi Moana Gasa 7737 gave us another really good question in regards to that. But I think yeah, the villain, like bringing small time, like weird villains and heroes would be great. So yes, we know like Black Lightning and Katana and Batman, obviously, but we don't know weirder heroes like Geoforce and Halo and all that stuff. So I think having it's just like I feel like the Outsiders could have been done a lot better in the show, and they just kind of fumbled that with Young Justice. So I think the Outsiders would make for a great movie. Again, like kind of like a kind of like what the good version of Suicide Squad is, like Suicide Squad, but with heroes, like kind of that Black Ops task force kind of thing. That could work for the Outsiders, that where they go on like kind of like secret Black Ops missions, but like they're in full costume garb and they just kind of do whatever the fuck they want. I think that could be really cool. I don't know if anybody has. I wasn't upset at Nolan's Bane casting. Figure Drawing says I was upset that the movie sucked. All right, and yes, Manos, I agree. Adria Arjona for Wonder Woman. Critch Commando said she exists. Yeah, I mean Themyscira, they confirmed that. But yeah, Wonder Woman should take Kara to Themyscira like Superman, Batman, Apocalypse, and do Trinity movie that way. Just no Darkseid, change up the villain. I liked Batman, Superman, Apocalypse, but it worked for that continuity, so I don't know if they would have that work. But whatever it is, I don't the rules of Themyscira are kind of loosey goosey depending on the adaptation. Some of them they don't accept anybody. But some of them are like, oh, they only accept women, or like, oh, they'll kill all men who do it. So it's like very loosey with what it is. But if they allow any woman to come to the island, which sometimes is continuity, sometimes isn't, I can see that happening. But yeah, whatever they decide to do. But yeah, Outsiders would be really cool. Then finally, big question. What are your thoughts when people look at projects like Sergeant Rock and say things, we didn't ask for this? When the world has shown us that a lot of projects we never asked for are capable of surprising us in the best way possible, and the director attaches a very good one. Now, this is more like a general like comic book question, so I'm curious to know your thoughts about this. So when people say we didn't ask for this, does that make your blood boil, or you're like, or is it just like, you're kind of an idiot, but I like bringing in small.
No, I mean, I think it's a funny comment, like, especially, if it, from a fan's perspective, if you get something and you're like, oh, that's interesting that you would give that character attention. We didn't think you were going to do that. There are other characters that we've been asking for, whatever. But for someone like me, if it's a character I've never heard of before, I'm for it because it's a character I've never heard of before. So sure, the more the merrier. Give me some background on that guy or gal. But no, I mean, I think if it's done properly and it makes people happy and it's true to the character, then great. But a lot of the time it can fall flat and it turns out to be pretty mid and people end up disappointed. So I can understand, both sides of it.
Yeah, I think I don't know, I just feel like the we didn't ask for this is like, you also want like the most perfect, like your fan. I feel like most of the time people say there's like, I want my fan casting for this,
right.
this, and
it's
this.
All subjective.
I want this. It's like you want 10 Justice League movies, 100 Superman movies, 15 Batman movies. It's like, well, the thing is,
want all of it done your way, your version, how you like it. Yeah.
Like it's kind of, I wouldn't say it makes my blood boil. Like it doesn't make me angry or anything. Like I think that's pushing it. But it's just like, I prefer the stuff we didn't ask for. It's like, I would like to see like teams and heroes that are so good that can make for a really good movie be done as a movie. But it's just like, it's weird how we haven't got it. Like Teen Titans. I'm surprised we haven't gotten a fucking Teen Titans movie yet. Because I feel like, you have a character that's pretty well known with Robin. He's attached to Batman, who's like one of the most popular fucking characters ever. So it's like, I'm curious why they didn't do that, because it's like, plus it brings it, like Spider-Man is the most popular like comic book hero of all time, and that's like a teenager being a hero. Well, why don't you have like 6 of them like doing their own thing, of like different personalities and races and creeds and sexualities doing their own thing, trying to figure like their herodom out at a young age and then doing all that. I think that would be really awesome. It's like, why haven't we gotten that? Like, but it's like, we allegedly are getting one, but it's like, for instance, I'm looking at the image right now. We didn't ask for a Waller show. We've gotten a lot of Amanda Waller, but it's Viola Davis. Viola Davis is fucking awesome.
And here's TC24 in the chat. All of my favorite movies I never asked for. So again, they could end up being surprising. They could end up being our favorite thing we've ever seen. It's all about execution and ultimately the writing. So.
And I mean, Sergeant Rock, they've been trying to get that off the ground since like the fucking 80s. So I mean, like Arnold Schwarzenegger was gonna be fucking Sergeant Rock at one point. Joel Silver was gonna, produce it and all that shit. So it's like, yeah. I mean, we might
Could
not
John
have asked.
Bernthal be Sergeant Rock, or is that like too? Is he still not like old enough? I'm just looking based off the couple things I've Googled here.
John Bernthal.
I mean, I just want to see him in everything.
I mean, he's busy with Punisher right now, so I don't know if he could even
Just a little
do it.
busy, yeah.
So he's doing that. He's doing The Amateur. That's coming out soon, which
Yeah.
by the way looks really good.
And again,
I saw the preview
Manos,
for that again. Great
yeah,
stuff.
Manos again said, "Who asked for Guardians?" And now look at what we've got these days. So it's true. Some of the best projects can be the most surprising. So.
Yeah, it's just like, I don't know. It's just like the people that say, "Oh, we didn't ask for this." It's just like, but it's also the same. You know what? And it's also, I bet it's also the same people that are like, the same people who say that we didn't ask for this are also the people that are complaining, "Oh, we don't get any original movies anymore." It's like, well, what do you want?
Yeah, well, and then when we do, they're all upset because they're Oscar nominated. So it's you can't please anybody. You just can't please anybody. Sorry, gang. I
No,
don't know
you
what to tell
can't.
you.
It's just like, it's just like it's so funny because like, oh, I don't go to the movies anymore because they're all fucking superhero shit. And then like something like Better Man bombs. It's like, well, I know it's based on something. It's based on a guy's life, but even then, it's like it's original. It's like a fucking biopic starring a chimpanzee. Like, like that's
so good,
original, and it's really good. And people are like, I don't want to fucking see this shit. And then that's, I don't want to see anything. It's like, I don't want to see anything that we've gotten a million times before, but I'm also refusing to see this movie that is something original. So it's like,
and incredible.
What do you want? And it's great. Like
all.
it's so funny with Better Man is like going a little bit of a side tangent. Like literally every person who hasn't seen the movie is like, this is the dumbest thing ever. This is the most stupid fucking idea I've ever seen in my life. Why did they make this? This is idiotic. Who's Robbie Williams? Blah 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 blah. All this other shit. They just are tirading. And then all the same people that eventually go see the fucking movie, whether they made fun of it or not, they're like, that was actually really fucking good. And it's just like, and I feel kind of bad that it's that much of a loss because it's like, I don't think that's like, I don't know if I'm ever going to get a chance to see it. Maybe if I don't see it in the theater, hopefully I'll see it at home because I do eventually want to see it now that, Liz has been pumping it up for the past week and a half. So
it's so great.
It's just like, I understand it's not really original because it's a biopic. It's based on a real person's life, quote unquote, but it's more original than like the 12th Superman movie. Like, I'm just saying, like, what is your drive here? Like, what are we doing? So I don't know. That's just a side tangent. Yeah, Transformers 1 bombed 2, but people who watched it loved it. Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. Like, I don't think it was like the greatest thing ever, but it was, again, that was another one where it was like surprisingly really good. That is an IP. That's why I didn't mention that. But it's just like, it's one of those things where it's like, oh, I didn't ask for this, but then you fucking see the movie, you're like, oh, yeah. I mean, Justice League Dark has been they've been trying to get that off the ground for fucking years. I mean, Doug Liman, Joseph Kahn, and Guillermo del Toro were all attached. I think J.J. Abrams was attached at one point too. And they're like, no, a Justice League movie that's based around fucking dark magic. No, that can't do well. All right. Okay. Sure. Legion of Super, like, you can fill the entire chat with every DC character that hasn't gotten a movie, and it'll be fucking like a fucking cool idea. Fucking, you can give me a goddamn Snowflame movie. Fuck it, I'll take that. Like, a guy who's powered by the fucking cocaine. Sure, gimme, I'll take it. That's actually a real hero, by the way, and my buddy Tim's favorite comic book character of all time.
Sure.
So, gotta love the 80s. Anywho. But before this gets, too into cocaine, let's give everything a rest. But we had a lot of big news today. Going over the Oscars, going over the, all like a bunch of new projects, birthdays and casting and bastem, and Captain America being fucking forced in our faces for the next fucking 3 weeks, and your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, Natasha Lyonne, people not understanding what she said, and got some big news with Bane x Deathstroke and Sinestro allegedly with the casting But we don't know if that's true or not because the original article is no longer available. So we'll see. But guys, you're 14 likes and 20 viewers. Come on.
Do the math, gang. What is that? Come on. Like it.
Oh,
Like
somebody
it. Hit those
suggested a Robert Eggers Animal Man movie. That could be awesome, but I don't think he would ever do that because he would never do a movie past 1950. That's what he said in a recent interview. He's like, I would never. He's like,
yeah.
the idea of photographing a phone makes me ill.
And
or
you know
like,
what? That's
or
fair.
like gives
That's
me
fair.
death. Like, all right, yeah, I kind of
fair.
agree with that. Based as fuck. But yeah, before we get too into it, but yes, thank you guys for watching. Please please comment. Maybe we can get more fan comments in the future. We're gonna be doing, Oh So Curious next week. We're gonna be reviewing Mark Wahlberg's A Pilot. And make sure to subscribe so you know when that goes up, and you can celebrate Mark Wahlberg's terrible Texan accent. So
and sweet hairline.
And his sweet hairline. But hey, nothing wrong with being bald. I'm just saying. But like, if you have the monk cut, just shave that shit off.
Yeah,
just shave off everything.
Just go full Willis.
Yeah. But again, thank you guys for watching. This has been an absolute pleasure, and we love each and every one of you. And please like and comment and subscribe. We love you. Anyway, bye. Bat nipples.